Welcome to episode 23 of the Wiretap podcast with Alex.
And Carlos. What's up,
Carlos,
Alex?
nah, nothing much, man. So we missed last week.
We did, man. My
We,
look for one, my computer's hard drive just gave out, bro. Just absolutely gave out. I don't know what else to
nah,
tell you, man.
nah, it's fine. It's fine. I hope people enjoyed because I think the last episode we had our guests. We had a strong episode. We pulled some good numbers, and
We did,
so
yeah, man.
appreciate George to have him on here in his poll, right?
Salute.
But and we weren't able to make the next show, but because some technical difficulties on your behalf there, but it's all good. It happens. What's going on, man?
Not much, man. Listen, I the past 2 weeks, I've said there's been some good things, but there's also been, and I said this on the last episode, there's some good things that have been going on, some great things, good celebrations, just some fantastic victories, even just as early as yesterday, man. I shared some good news, made some good moves financially, I'll say that. But there's a lesson that I've got, man. I wanted to title the first segment the lesson of the week. Maybe we should probably start doing this every couple of weeks for those listeners that are listening to see if there's any lessons that me and you have encountered, or even people that are listening to us, our listeners, maybe they've got some lessons of the week that they want to share with us
or something.
Yeah, man, something like that. I will say that my lesson of the week is, Alex, I've got multiple businesses that I run, and my consulting firm is is really an opportunity for me that if I want to help out, I have the ability to do that. If I want to, go easy on the pricing, I can adjust a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? I guess you can say that my consulting firm, I've got more wiggle room than other things that I do. But one lesson of the week that I will say is I am absolutely, and I'm going to say this, I am absolutely done helping people out. I'm done being the nice guy and trying to help you out and wanting to see you succeed. Like, it's genuine. Like it is genuine for me to want to see you succeed and me cheering you on. Like, that is a genuine thing, right? There's no hate. There's nothing holding you back, right? There's nothing that I'm going to do that's going to hold someone back if I decided to help them out, right? So I made the decision last week that I am done helping people out when it comes to my consulting firm. My fees will not be free anymore for those selective people that I may know or that I may be in touch with, or I'm not doing it anymore, man. I'm done. What I bring to the table is incredibly valuable. I've seen results in my own professional financial career. I've seen results in other businesses that I've implemented strategies in. So I'm done, Alex. I know this sounds so crazy because it's not me. But it is. It is. I've got to take on this new approach.
Is there a particular story you could share that kind of push you into that direction?
I can't, man. I can't tell you that right now because it's private, right? It's people's livelihood. It's people's business. That I'm not trying to call anybody out specifically. I'm just going to say that I'm done helping people out. I'm done doing it, man. And if you want to have a conversation with me and you want my services, you sign a freaking contract first. Easy as that. That's as simple as it's going to get, Alex. So that's my lesson of the week. And I'm sorry that I got to be that way. I hate it, man, because now, you know how they say that one person's approach or one person's
one person ruins a good thing for others.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And that's exactly what this did. And I'm not doing it anymore, man. I'm done trying to be the nice guy. I'm done trying to help other people out to say, look, don't even worry about the money. I got it. You know what I mean? So from now on, I don't have it. I don't have it, and it's not going to happen. So you come to me, you come correct, and you come ready to sign an agreement. Let's just be simple as that. Hate to say it, but it is what it is. Alex, what about your lesson of
Well,
the week, man?
this is not even planned or anything, but mine was say no sooner.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah, I mean, this wasn't even planned as far as what you're
Wow.
talking about, but I think with this last 2 weeks is what I've learned from my personal thing is just learn to say no sooner, because I mean is like um people try to pile on more and more and more things
Yeah, of course.
as you progress during your day or whatever, or the more projects that you're taking over and stuff. And it's kind of more saying like, like, no, I can't do it. It's like there's no capacity, there's no way for me to do it, especially because most of the stuff that we do is on based on timelines as far as projects due and bids due at certain times, that it's challenging to manage your time.
Yeah,
And of course, the more you work and stuff, the more, and we'll touch on our next subject, right? But the more you do, there's this better outcome personally and the company as well. But one of the things that I think the lesson of the week for me was just learn to say no sooner.
mm,
um it is just that way there's no, it's like, hey, you want it, you got to do it on your own. I'm sorry, I
that's
just don't
right.
have the capacity. I mean, if I do, yeah, I want to make more money too, so it's like I'll
Yeah,
take
man.
the project, right? But
That's
there
right.
comes a time where you just can't, there's no way you can squeeze that many stuff in, no matter as much as you want to.
That's right.
So
That's
that's
right.
that's my lesson of the week. So like I said, it wasn't planned or nothing,
It's
but
pretty good, man.
you know, it's not not saying no completely, but just learn to say no when the time is right, or
No,
if you're at
I'm saying no.
capacity.
No.
No, no, no,
Excuse
no.
my
I'm just saying
excuse my French, but hell no.
no, no. But it's kind of
That's
like, think
how
about it like
upset
this.
it made me, man. That's how upset it
Yeah.
made me, bro. It made me that upset. I'm over here working for you for absolutely free, trying to help you out, and you want to turn around and what? Man, I'm done. Done.
No, no, no.
Absolutely done.
In
Absolutely
for
done.
your case, you got your own circumstances. I'm saying like, even for like people out there that have got their job or some, or they got their they do multitask, or they have their specific roles, and they're trying to say, it's like sometimes it's like the professionals like, okay, if you're at capacity, it's like, help me prioritize
Of course.
which ones you want first, versus because one's got to suffer, because I just can't, you can't expect me. And sometimes you'll find that your boss is like, no, let me get somebody else on it, or blah blah blah, or what the case is. And then with that is just learn to say no sooner.
Yeah. Yeah, man. No, that's good. No, that's fantastic. Fantastic advice. That's a fantastic approach. And it is
Yeah,
what it is, man. You just can't make
yeah.
time for people who you don't need to make time for people who don't value your the value you bring to the table, right? Then you end up spinning your wheels for unnecessary reasons, all because you're wanting to help somebody out and see them succeed. So, yeah, man. No, no, no. I absolutely I get it, and I'm so glad that wasn't planned, because that just reaffirms that. Listen, guys, those of you that are listening, there may be moments in your life that you always are so accustomed and so used to saying yes that at some point when something happens where you've got to pivot, right? Sometimes we choose to pivot and to say, no, I'm just going to go left on this, and staying instead of staying on the right track and saying, well, let me just work through this. Let me push through it. Listen, at some point, as Alex has said, you got to learn to say no. You got to learn when to hold them, and you got to learn when to fold them, as the country song says. You know what I mean?
No, for sure. No, yeah. I mean, I think it's important for everybody to, and you always hear that from top people, is like, you got to learn to say no. It's like, because people keep taking advantage. And there comes a time when you have to just be like, no, I'm not. And sometimes that comes with the position that you're in. You may have a little bit more power, but even if you don't, I think it's important to be like, I'm sorry, this is what I can do, this is my capacity. If you want more, you can either bring me more help, or
Right.
you're gonna have to wait.
Unload some cash.
Yeah. So
Unload some heavy cash. No, I'm right there with you, man. But listen, speaking of walking away, or speaking of holding them when you should fold them, or fold them when you hold them, as that country
hmm.
song says, wanted to talk a little bit, Alex. And I know you are. I guess you could say I would see you as an expert on this next item, as we talk about sales commission. I've had some conversations recently in the past couple of weeks with individuals who are they're working on a sales I'm sorry, they're working in sales. They've got a commission structure that sounds a bit ridiculous, a bit odd. This particular individual that I had a conversation with the other day, because I went to a dealership to look at a Tesla. We're not going to talk about that today, Alex.
Mm,
We'll leave that conversation alone. But this particular individual, somehow decided to pick my brain. And as we were having a conversation, I learned a little bit about his sales commission structure. And I said, what a good opportunity for us to talk about this on our show, and to talk about the various types of commission structure. So maybe you work in sales, and maybe as you work in sales, there is a compensation structure that is currently working for you, or perhaps maybe not working for you. Alex, in your line, or at least in your experience, tell me about some of these, because I know I from what I've gathered, there's about 4 or 5, maybe even 6 commission structures that we could touch on. You've got
yeah.
the flat revenue, you've got the gross margin, you got the tiered, you got the draw, the multiplier, or just basic straight
Straight
commission, right?
commission.
So tell me a little bit about the way these structures work, and how you're seeing and how they're being implemented among you.
So
Because again, my staff, I pay them a flat salary, we don't work on commission that way, of course.
no, there's different avenues, and I've actually, for better or worse, I've had experience on multi different ones. When I used to be at the Cadillac dealership, we used to work over there, and I saw, not personally on that one, but I saw like how the commission structure was based off for the salespeople,
Yeah.
and they basically they had a small salary based, and they got cash depending on the vehicle and how much they were able to get as down payment. Um, the down payment would be some type of commission towards it. Sometimes it was a flat fee of $250 per car.
Let me ask you
Sometimes it was
something
more.
as you continue. I don't mean to interrupt, but did that
Mm.
dealership get sold? I feel like I haven't seen it. I feel like it,
Yeah,
it
it did. It
disappeared,
it
right? It
did
got
get
sold.
it did get sold
Oh, okay.
years ago to a different entity, and
Gotcha.
I
Gotcha.
mean, drive by there a couple times, and they don't have that many vehicles or inventory. I don't know
Yeah,
if that's
yeah, I
because of the
saw.
chip shortage and stuff like that. But
Could be, which is pretty whack right now. But yeah, go ahead. I'm so
yeah,
sorry. Keep going.
no. So one of I used to, back when I was in my youth, I used to
You were a
there
young
used to be,
whippersnapper.
yeah, there was a car dealership that was more of a buy here, pay here lot, which is a little different than most. Like, it's not your standard financial, right? You're people who have bad credit. That's really
Right.
where they're
It's your
going to buy
subprime
cars.
loans. Yeah, it's your subprime.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're getting high interest rates. Well, anyways, the structure there was, and they changed it after the fact. But I'll tell you, when I first went in there, what they did was they paid you a it was a guarantee of $300 a week, right? That means if you don't sell any vehicles,
Get three
your at
days.
least minimum will take $300 a week, but it was borrowed. So this is kind of more of a
Mm,
draw. It's a
this is
cash
your
in
draw.
advance.
Yeah, this is a
Yeah.
draw.
So
Okay. Okay.
if we were putting it into context of the structures, this is considered a draw.
Yeah.
So they give you a guaranteed $300 a week, but it's not your money. It's your draw. You have to pay it back. So
Yeah.
it's kind of more of
It's a
an
payback. It's a
advance.
savings. Yeah, it's an advance. That's right.
It's an advance. So once you get there, so let's just pretend there was like 2 weeks that you didn't sell any vehicles. So that means you got $600 for that, plus your taxes and whatever, right?
Of
But
course. Of
they
course.
let you borrow $600. But the next 2 weeks you blew up and you sold 10 cars. Well, you're thinking that you made all this money,
Yeah,
and
man.
in reality, you have to pay back $600,
No. Yeah.
and then your commission is there. Now, the way it
Gotcha.
was
And that's your
structured, it
draw.
was
That's your cash advance.
yeah. So then what happened was they would pay you, like, let's just say, depends on the vehicle, if the guy was giving a lot of payments or if he was paying cash. So say I can get up to $650 per car, sometimes on the low end, $250 and everything like that.
Wow.
I stuck around because in my first couple weeks, you know, I had like over 16, 17 cars, which was pretty high in commission rate.
That you
But
sold?
yeah, that I sold. So let's just say that I started working the first week I didn't sell anything. Um the second week I didn't, but then I started popping off and I sold a lot of cars during that month. So I just kind of waited until I saw the business structure and and they were like, well, it's guaranteed, but then they were after when you're in there actually hired,
Uh-huh.
it's like,
Uh-huh.
oh no, but it's kind of you have to pay it back if you don't sell no cars, blah blah blah. This is and I was like, nope, I'm not with that. So, but I couldn't say nothing because I had all these cars sold and I
Of
had this
course, you
big
didn't
old
want to
check
lose your
coming in. Yeah. So once I got my big check coming in, I was like,
out.
deuces, I'm out. I
Yeah.
had a week
Yeah.
in there. I didn't even go back to collect that
Oh,
last check.
you only worked a week?
No. I worked there for 4 weeks.
Oh wow, yeah. I
But
would have
but
loved to have
but
been there. I would have loved to have
but
you sell your car.
technically the fifth week they still owed me because I worked the whole week. Like I had cars in that week.
Oh, got it. Got it.
But
Did you
but
get
as soon
that?
as they give me no, but as soon as they pay me my big check, I was like, I'm out. This is not for me. And then they called me back and it was like, hey, what's going on? I was like, I'm sorry, this business structure doesn't, this commission, structure doesn't work for me. I was
Yeah.
like, I can't have you because you can go in the hole quick. You can
Incredibly
go in
quick.
a, yeah. So afterwards I talked to the manager and I was like, no, that's not gonna work. This and this. They were like, at the time it was different money than where we're at now. $300 doesn't take you that much nowadays, right?
Is that
But
dealership still around, Alex?
yeah, it's still around. There
Oh, okay.
still multiple dealers all around Georgia.
Mm,
But here's the way they changed the structure. They guaranteed you $500 a week, your money,
okay.
but now it's a cap of $100 per car.
Oh.
So it's different. So now they give you, let's just say at that time, they after I left, they changed that. So they give you $500 a week, and then every car that you sold is 100. So potentially, if you sold 20 cars, you know that's whatever $2,000
Yeah,
plus
yeah,
your
yeah, yeah.
500 plus your other 500. So you could have probably made for 2 weeks $3,000, which is not bad. It's really good.
So it's a guaranteed 24,000 a year plus commission.
Plus commission. That was
Gotcha.
for that dealership, which was like again, that was a more of a pay here, buy here, pay here
I think
lot,
I know
which is
which one you're
smaller
talking about.
inventory.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah. So they
Okay.
changed it. I mean, it was not bad, but it's just wasn't working for me. And of course, once you start going into the corporate role, different aspects, you have where you got your base. You have a base salary, and then you make commission on the deals that you close. You know that's it could go from anywhere from a point, half a point to 5%
Yeah.
to maybe more. Depends on what kind of business you're in.
Negotiation. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, the negotiations, but is like, do you want to have a high base or maybe you want to go at a low base? Let's just say it depends on your skill sets, how much the potential of business. It's a huge risk, right? Because you could say, hey, I'll take $35,000 salary guarantee, but
Right.
I want a 7% of all our projects close.
And that's based on so in that particular sense, it's a gross margin
Yeah,
commission structure, right?
correct.
Got
So
it. Got it.
you're taking a flat and then plus your percentage of the gross revenue that you're producing for that project or every project. So potentially you can make a lot of money, right?
Of course.
Or and that's a really good. It just depends. If you want to have a higher, say 50,000, okay, well maybe you're gonna negotiate less, and depends on what the company's gonna do.
Mm,
Sometimes it's higher, and then you're taking a lower percentage, but then you're closing deals and you're still making money. So it just really depends.
mm. Gotcha. Gotcha. Well, see that the reason I was asking is because I believe this individual that I was speaking with, Alex, I believe uh, there were months, and here was the interesting part. Their peak season was straight commission. Their
Hmm.
off-peak season was a baseline with a percentage of each sale, which is interesting because, in other words, it sounds to me they were trying to get it right. They were trying to be fair, But I wanted to pick your brain to talk about these commission structures because I mean, at some point, could you imagine being at a low cost, small volume, low cost, small price point? We're not talking real estate, right? We're not talking those numbers where the commission structure is a whole lot higher. However, even that is even straight commission. But
Hmm.
it's those smaller price points, and you're working off straight commission, and you've got these dead spots, right? You've got these dead months where your business is based on seasonality, and for the next 3 to 6 months you could be strictly being paid absolutely nothing.
No, here's the thing though.
That's a hard
Does
one,
he?
man.
Yeah, but the seasons that is popping,
You
right?
can
That is
gather and store your eggs.
well, I mean, just depends. Is it like is those seasons strong? Like you're making like money, like real money, and then at that point is like okay, you gotta make sure that you put aside money so when you go back to the structure where you got a small, you got your flat rate and then plus your commission,
Yeah.
you're able to offset that. So
Mm,
it kind of depends, because when we go into sales, this is why sales make the most money. Like, of
of
course, if you
course.
search it, it's one of the highest paying jobs out there because
Absolutely.
what happens is it's kind of like a snake moving, right? It's up and down like like the graph. You got ups and down, ups and down, ups and down. But at the end of the year, you're always way high up because you moved, and there was times. And what a lot of people always want is they want that nice flat structure,
Yeah.
and
Versus
they
the
miss out
dips. Yeah.
because you rather be safe and say I'm gonna make, I don't know, just easy math. Let's just say I'm gonna make 50,000,
Yeah. Of
or would you rather go the ups and downs on the month and then at the end of the year you make 100?
course. Of course.
It just depends on how you see it, and
Yeah.
of course how you structure, how's your spending habits and everything.
Right. Right.
What I
And
always
what your
say
hustle
is
looks like. How's your style on a hustle? Yeah, man.
correct. And here's the thing that I say to people that are in that same spot and they don't know and they're overspending, because they count on those commission checks, is do yourself a favor. You have to live all your payments and all your stuff, all your structure in your base or your flat rate. You have to make sure you cover everything, you have money left over, and then everything that's after your commission is basically other stuff that you're doing, more money aside, more investments, and a project that you want to do in your home. Maybe it goes towards a car, maybe it goes towards something else. And by the way, that's the way I operate. I operate on the my flat or flat income rates, of me and my wives and everything, is
Yeah.
make sure
Yeah.
we can sustain ourselves because those commission checks are not guaranteed.
Of course. Of course.
You know what I'm
And
saying? It's
you
like,
got to be prepared.
yeah, for sure. It's because you never know, they go up and down. So like I said again, you got to make sure that's actual extra income.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even though it's you're working hard for it. I mean, because in reality, that's what you're doing, is that's part of my income. That's why I'm always working.
Yeah, no, of course, because
But go
that's what's providing at the end of the day, you know?
Yeah,
So
correct.
yeah, okay.
But you gotta shrink yourself and make sure that you're able to means within that flat rate though. That's what I would suggest. And then when you get those, man, it feels like you're living large.
Of course, of course. So out of those six that we just somewhat touched on, if there was one that you could pick, or you would encourage someone in sales that's been in sales or that's thinking about sales, which one would you have them push towards? What would be your
It
recommendation,
honestly,
Alex?
Carlos, it's gonna depend hugely on what the business is. I think every business is unique and depends on the upside, right?
Price point and volume sales?
Yeah, correct. Because if you're talking about, it depends on your experience.
Of course.
Because at the beginning, if I'm starting new on this new, like say, business venture, is I may want a flat rate plus a small commission because I want to make sure that my flat rate is higher because I need to make sure that I sustain myself. But once I gain experience,
If you're selling scrub daddies or selling Teslas,
I'll give you an
you want two
example.
different structures.
Yeah, for example, if let's just say that I'm selling healthcare uniforms.
Yeah.
right? And I'm a salesperson. I'm in charge of a region or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, if I don't have experience, I may want to hire a flat rate with the lower commission because I don't know how to do it. But once I gain years, 5 years of experience, 6 years of experience, and I'm actually closing deals,
You
that
restructure.
business structure, yeah, it doesn't work for me anymore.
Of
Now
course.
I'm saying, hey, I'd rather take $20,000 and you bump my thing because I know I'm closing deals. So
Of
I
course.
really depends on the what you're going for. If you're selling cars, well, think about it. How much cars you're selling, this, and that. How much experience you have in closing deals. It really just depends on your unique circumstances.
Yeah.
But
The
I
art
like
of the execution of a deal. Yeah. But which one do you like?
no, I mean I think the flat rate plus your commission percentage is a
Mm,
good one because it kind of
it's healthy.
gives it gives you yeah, it's healthy and it gives you the best of both worlds, and you can always structure that depends on where you move up.
As we talk about these sales structures and what works best, Alex, you alluded to, it's going to depend on the product. It's going to depend on the volume. But I think another piece that we always tend to forget is how you're living. Like, what's your lifestyle like, right? What can keep up with your expenses and what type of income can you generate? So the lifestyle matters. Especially, it matters even more, I would say, when you're not willing to restructure your spending habits, right? When you're not willing
Hmm.
to restructure how you live. And I this gets on to something of the next subject, and it's not on the
Hold on a
content
second,
schedule.
Carlos.
Yeah, man.
I don't want to. I want to skip over two different ones.
Yeah,
The tier, because you mentioned them. The
yeah,
tier,
absolutely.
the tier. Basically, what happens is is it could be a bonus structure. You can operate on your regular salary base, and then after every quarter, depends on the qualifications that they put that you meet those quotas.
Mm,
You get a percentage where it's more of a bonus. It's not really so. It's like, hey, if you hit this number, you get a percentage. Here's a
got it.
percentage. So those are quarterly bonus, and then the other one that it's s- unique. I mean, it's not unique, but it happens a lot. It's the multiplier. So what happens is, let's just say they have a cap of $2 million in sales.
Yeah,
Well, what happens is I'm structured all the way through those up to the $2 million, and then after the $2 million, it changes, and I get an addition to something else now that I hit my point for the year.
got
So
it. Got it.
that's considered the multiplier quota. So
Oh, got it. Got it.
after you yeah, so let's just say that me and you are our team, and our boss comes out and
We
says,
got to
hey,
hit our goal.
yeah,
Yeah, for the
yeah,
year.
your guys' goal together is $5 million. Once you guys hit $5 million in our contract, as like we get an extra what 2 points, 1 point, like it really depends. And then after that, it just keep going. We may have another that says, hey, after we hit, let's just say 8 million, it's another multiplier. So there's
Mm,
multipliers that you can
mm,
work out and it all depends on your contract. Those are harder to get, but they're out there.
yeah. It's, which
And go
which
ahead now.
actually, well, it actually
Go ahead.
takes me to the next thing is maybe we should start selling certain things and put a goal of 2 to 5 million down, Alex. I don't know what we'll sell, but we've got to figure that out. Maybe we start selling bandanas.
Hey man,
You
it's
never know.
crazy,
There's a
but
market, right? There's a market for it, right?
there's
No,
a
I get it.
market for everything. Is like
Absolutely.
I was telling my wife because she's like super creative and everything. There's this girl out there that she started making scrunchies. Like
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's
Mm-hmm.
what they call it, like for the hair.
Yeah, the scrunchies.
And
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, they started like in a little thing and they made bigger. Now she ended up getting a whole warehouse where you got people in there, like employees. Like think about it, started in her home in
Making
her garage.
scrunchies. How about that?
Started in the
And she
garage.
didn't reinvent the wheel. She just gave it a
No,
different
no.
design, I'm sure.
Give it a different design, different
Yeah,
colorway, different
yeah,
things, made it
yeah.
unique, made it quality, and
Impressive.
boom, it took off. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
so
no, of
there it's
course.
out there.
Look, it's just how you market, right? Marketing is the way to do
The key.
anything and everything, right? It really is,
Hmm.
and that certainly brings us into the next piece. So you can delete that other aspect,
Hmm. Sure.
Alex. But that does bring us into the next one that really wasn't on the content schedule. It was just added recently. But, as we talk about these sales commission structures, you mentioned two pieces, and I want to involve another one, Alex. You mentioned, look, it matters on the product that you sell, number one. It also matters as to, of course, the price point, what you're selling, and what that looks like. But another piece that is involved in this is your lifestyle, right? If you're not
Hmm.
willing to restructure your lifestyle, no matter what commission structure is in place, if even, I mean, I would say it's harder to do a straight commission one if you're not willing to change your lifestyle and you're not selling, right? That's a whole nother world for sure. But, as we move into this next topic, I want to talk about lifestyles and keeping up with the Joneses, if I could use that, Alex, is
Oh
what
yeah,
is
for sure.
going on with this Ace family, man? You know about the Ace family? Hey,
Well,
Ace family. You know those
yeah,
guys?
no,
You know
I know
those guys?
exactly. Yeah,
There
yeah,
is
no.
there is so much financial drama. And I wanted to bring this up because from what I've gathered, I don't know about you, Alex. Apparently I'm learning. And again, I feel like these guys are in the news or in Snapchat news uh a lot now, like weekly, bro. Uh you got lawsuits. Apparently, they're not paying fighters for the battle on the platforms. They're facing pre-eviction out of their, I think for their pre-floor closure on their $7 million home. Her business is in shambles. It got relocated. I believe it's a skincare line. Look, the whole point to all of this is I hope these individuals are understanding and learning that at some point when you're not making X amount of dollars, that you've got to reposition your lifestyle.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I haven't heard because I mean, I do. I know how they started. They started doing prank videos on YouTube. They blew up. They're
Yeah.
making a lot. They were. I mean, as far as I know, they were making a lot of money. Their house is gorgeous. I mean, they brought
They
in
just
stuff
got
from,
it, didn't they?
about it 2 years ago or something like that. You can
Mm.
probably find it, but they got really nice tile. I mean, it's just crazy the stuff that they got. It's a beautiful home, and they got all these cars and you got Lamborghini. She's got the I mean, they got. It seems like they're making money and they got all this other stuff. I don't know if it's a thing that they don't want to pay someone or something,
Mhm,
or
mhm.
it's all just a lie. Like I don't I don't really know because I haven't been keeping up with the news recently with them. I know that he just recently fought in Miami, I think, right? And he had that fight where he won that other TikToker famous dude.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That Bryce Hall kid.
Hmm.
So, I mean, look, again, whichever way you're going to structure your sales position or how you're doing business, and this is just incredibly important. I think this is, and the reason we wanted to bring the Ace family in, very little. I mean, it's a very small bit that I wanted to make that comment on is, and it's not just the Ace family. It's anybody and everybody who does not know how to restructure their financial situation for the sake of keeping up with others, right? For the sake of, oh, I want to drive this because everyone else drives this, right? I want to live here because everyone lives here that I know. I want to go vacation here because everyone I know has vacation here. Like you are doing these things to keep up with a trend, to keep up with a specific lifestyle, which is why I say keeping up with the Joneses, because
Yeah.
that's really what takes place. And again, you take on these sales jobs that have potential to give you that 5, 10, 15x. Look, at the end of the day, if you don't restructure your lifestyle, and we talked about this last week or 2 weeks ago, if I could be precise, on personal financials. Look, at the end of the day, you have got to learn how to restructure your financials in order for you to be able to execute what your end goal is, right? Whether that's on a quarterly basis, whether that's on an annual basis, you've got to understand that discipline plays in a massive role, plays a huge role. And you see that just with examples like the Ace family, right? If you are not being disciplined enough to execute accordingly, it's going to take away from what you're trying to do. So, I would say,
Well,
Alex,
here
that
No,
Yeah, man.
no, dude. Let me add this to it, because
Yeah, man.
this is a prime example, and I think we could put ourselves in that situation as well, right? It's like,
Yeah,
so keeping up with the Joneses is really everyone's easy to do. It's a thing people want to do, but it's not the smart thing to do. For
not
example,
sustainable.
no, for example, like my wife drives a nice car, right? But I'm driving, and it doesn't take anything from me to go buy another car, because I have the money to go buy another
Of
car.
course, of course.
But the thing is I'm driving my 2005 Mercedes because it still looks good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I bought it in 2006. I bought it used, that particular one. It was the first car that I personally purchased. That was back in 2006. I
That's right.
still have it. The thing is, it's got little kinks here and there, but I fix them. It keeps rolling. It's a nice vehicle.
It does
You
the
know what I'm saying?
job, man.
It,
Yeah.
it, it there's no reason.
Yes.
There's no
Yes.
reason for me to
Nope.
go buy
Nope.
another car. And
That's
there's
right.
nothing holding me back. It's not like I don't have the money to go buy
That's right.
another
That's
car,
right.
have
That's right.
myself a newer car. And I do want a new car. Like, who doesn't? Like, I want another car. But the thing is, it's like, why? I'd rather just keep storing money away, or doing this, or putting more into whatever investments or whatever I want to do, and
Yeah.
have that car there that's still running great.
And
I
that's
have the other
discipline,
one.
right? But
Yeah,
that's
it
discipline.
does, because it doesn't take anything that for me to just go right now and go,
That's right.
like,
That's
go
right.
give me another nothing.
That's right. That's right.
you know and that's one of the things. It's like yourself, your wife drives a nice car. You have your older cars are still
That's
nice
right.
vehicles, because you
That's right.
have the old the Land Rover and stuff like that.
Yeah, man.
and and those are nice cars too, and it's not like you can't go get another car. It's just like, well, what's the reason? It's like, nah, man, it's you want to be financially more stable, and let's go do whatever we want to do. And a lot of
Absolutely.
people miss that, and it's like, oh no, that guy just got a new car. I need to go get another. Let me go trade this. And
Yeah.
now I'm in debt, and I couldn't pay
Yeah.
that
Now
car.
I've got two
It-
mortgage
it-
payments. Oh, wait.
yeah,
Now
it's
I've
like,
got three
why?
mortgage payments.
It's like, why? What's the reason?
Absolutely. No, I,
Like Cardi
and
B says, what is the reason?
but it's true, man. Look, at the end of the day, you've got to have that discipline. So, it's funny how, and I'm trying not to be too intentional about this, Alex, but it's a response, right? These issues happen, these things take place because, again, we want to keep up with the Joneses. Listen, I
Mhm.
gave you homework a couple of weeks ago,
Yes, you
and I
did, which
wanted you
was
to.
homework.
It was homework, right? My bad. I enjoy those things, man. I'm so sorry, but I wanted you to watch this because I think it opens up great dialogue. Number one, but I gave Alex
Interesting
homework.
and
If you guys,
brilliant and dumb at the same time,
yeah,
right?
yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. I gave Alex homework. Those of you that are listeners and you're faithful, you know what I'm talking about. I gave him homework to go and watch the WeWork documentary. The WeWork, as in the remote offices where you can, rent your own office if you're running a business and you don't want to, you're not filling the lease and you just want to rent the space. And all of a sudden, through this vision of this specific individual, this CEO at the time, Vlad, he began to grow his company. He began to scale his business
Mhm.
because he had a goal in mind. But I wanted to give Alex this report because this homework, because at the end of the day, what it does, it goes back to financial discipline. Just because there's money, and you saw this in that documentary, and I don't know
Mhm.
if anybody else has seen it. Just because there's money, and in that situation, there was, but there wasn't, but because the
Mhm.
books
It was a
showed there was
placebo
money.
effect.
Exactly. Just because those books were in effect and those books said this is what you've got did not mean you should go out and blow it and expand in a matter of weeks, right? You've got to scale your business accordingly. You've got to watch your balance sheets. You got to make sure you're profitable in order to scale, in order to grow. So, Alex, give me your synopsis as
Yeah.
concise as possible as to what you
Well,
thought about the WeWork documentary, man.
okay. One, this guy is he
I should
made
have
it
made you
almost
watch it without audio.
this guy. Okay, look. So first of all, the concept is you have locations that people come in, and they're able to work. You don't really you say I want to create my own business, but I want to have that vibe, like bring people, clients in. I can have like a meeting set up. It looks really professional. So it's kind of bringing entrepreneurs that are into the space that are not able to fully function a building and do that stuff. So
That's
the
right.
concept of it is pretty genius, right?
The
And I've seen,
reoccurring revenue model, it's
yep,
there. Yeah, it's
it's a
there.
it's a you can do an incentive where you're paying monthly for this club, and it's not that crazy dollar value, but you're getting all the benefits of operating off of a office environment. There's I seen spin-offs that I personally have gone and seen, and for myself, that it's not WeWorks, but it's a similar space. You got different
Right.
entrepreneurs. You'll rent the conference room, be like, hey, I have it scheduled, and blah. So it was kind of, I don't know if it was necessary, but he saw it, and obviously there's a lot of group that saw that you can have entrepreneurs that are thinking the same way as you are, in one space. And so I think what he did was doing that, but the way he approached it, it was more of a cult mentality, like a we work, like this is us, like you want to be part of. He kind of made him, so he was a very good manipulator,
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
sometimes in sales you do have to do that, not
That's right.
necessarily, so don't misquote me on that, but you do have to be
Eh,
able to persuade people
That's right. That's right.
to close the deal. That you're trustworthy, that there's a lot of arts to science. There's many books over there, execution of sales and stuff. You can
That's
go
right.
check it out, but different topic for a different episode.
That's right.
Now with this guy, it definitely brainwashed people, was able to influence big investors into believing that he had something, where in reality it
Which he
was nothing.
did. Right. He
He
did have.
didn't.
He did
He
have.
did it.
He
He
had a
didn't.
perfect business model. Perfect business model. Would you say
Yeah, but
so?
he overspent.
He overreached. Absolutely. He
He
overreached. Yep.
overreached, and I get it. He wanted to think big, but he wanted to think big way outside of what he was already capable of doing at the time. So it's okay to reach for the star. I would say it's okay to reach for the moon. It's just, and have that plan to be able to reach towards the moon.
Yeah.
It's just you got to take it in steps. You got to create the rocket. You got to make sure that the rocket is sustainable. Where are you going to do it? Get all the clearances. It able to go. It's like, so eventually you do get to the moon, right? He was just wanted to, forget about the rocket. It didn't land. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going.
Yeah.
Keep
Yeah.
going.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
he's burning cash with not sustaining the base,
That's right.
right?
That's right. That's right.
And
And
eventually what happened with that was people wanted him out. He couldn't. He created some controversy and everything, and people wanted him out. And no, in order to save what he
the
created.
business. That's right. Because it's very sustainable. And that's the thing, guys. The business model he came up with is very sustainable. The vision that he had was very valid. I would say so.
Mhm.
When you start getting into, I thought the schools was a bit of a reach.
Yeah, yeah,
I
it's a
thought that
little
was a little bit
loony.
of, yeah, definitely a little loony. But I really enjoy the business model that WeWork has in place, where you can have an office in downtown Atlanta. I used WeWork for about 3 months. It was fantastic. You're
Oh,
right
you
downtown.
actually were part of the cult?
Yeah. Well, not in that kind of way.
I know, I'm just
Uh,
kidding. Because if you guys watch the documentary, it's like you get what I'm saying. It's
yeah,
got a cold vibe. He made it seem like this is it, like you see a lot of other stuff that is cult related, where it
cultish.
makes you,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
So he kind of had that vibe. I'm not saying
And
but
here and let me say this. Look, I paid it was $99 a month, Alex. I paid $99 a month. I
it's
got
not
my own.
bad, dude.
No,
To be
I got
honest,
$99 a month. I got my own office. I had access to boardrooms where I could meet in these boardrooms, use the touchscreen screens. I mean, I could really bring a client in and truly wow them, right? Because someone
correct.
has already built the infrastructure for me. And what they're focusing on, their price point was the way they were going to be profitable was to do it in volume. And here's the thing, you had options within that model where you didn't have to have an office. You could just walk in and start working and have access to things at a specific price point, right?
Hmm.
But I thought it was a fantastic model. I think it's great. Again, it was in downtown Atlanta. I'm in the midst of the hustle and bustle. I can wow my clients. I can network with other business owners, other entrepreneurs, and I have access to other individuals that are perhaps in the same industry or that I can connect with that will help enhance my industry, right? It's a
Hmm.
phenomenal business model. The problem there is a lack of financial discipline. He took a $4 billion company that now is valued at 700 million.
No, I think it went up to at one point in the show. I think it was valued at 65 billion or something like that.
That's the
Uh,
thing. That's the thing is at some point that no, I absolutely agree that he was at that 65 mark. I remember that actually now that you say that. But that's the whole point. How do you
Oh,
go from
45. It was like 45 billion. Oh, 65 billion.
yeah,
And it plummeted so quick. Like it literally didn't take. Okay, first of all, it was super overvalued to begin with.
incredibly.
It
Yeah, yeah,
jumped
yeah,
like
yeah,
boom,
of
boom, boom,
course.
boom. And then we hit at 65. Then things got
Yeah.
a little bit crazy. And they started dropping, 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 dropping. And he went from 65 to 6.5 to for
Uh-huh.
that to now the numbers that you're talking about. And that's why he had to go. Like they kicked him out of his own company
Of course.
because
You got to.
there was
It's a
no
Steve
way.
Jobs. It's a Steve Jobs, right? It's the Steve Jobs situation all over again. Now, Steve Jobs didn't have this cultish way of doing things. He might have been cultish type, right? He might have been the cultish type, but it
Mhm.
wasn't a cultish atmosphere, right? And
No,
he
I think
started
he. I
going off
think what
into other
happened was.
things.
I think what had happened was. It's just the way he might have carried himself. Maybe like he didn't care. He wanted to get and soak and get every ounce that he could from your knowledge and your productivity. That
Uh-huh.
made him
Uh-huh.
a dictatorship sort of CEO type deal. And I think that's why he's. But he had the innovation. He had all this other stuff. And you know,
He, he's a brilliant
all
mind.
CEOs.
He's a
Yeah,
brilliant mind.
all CEOs are not going to line up to where that everyone's going to like them. I mean, it's just the nature of a
No,
CEO. Like,
absolutely.
there's people that are going to love them and people that are not going to like them. I mean, you're put in that situation every day. You know, some people is like, because you got to make tough decisions sometimes, and sometimes you got to put, it is what it is. Comes with the territory, I would say.
That's right. That's right. So I know it might have been, it might have had some dips as far as content as you watched it, Alex, that you were like, what did I get myself into? And I respect the fact that you stuck it out, that you hung in there and you watched it. But I think you can pull so many examples as to what to do, right? As well as what not to do when it comes to whether it's your own financial discipline or how you're scaling a business and growing your business or putting together a sustainable business model. Look, I think we work as a prime example of lack of discipline. And of course, there's some responsibility
He had a
socially
great
as
thing.
well
He
as
had a
yeah.
great thing.
He
Carlos, I
did.
want to
He
say
did.
he had a great thing for himself. He like I think he overreached tremendously. And the problem was is not that he overreached, it's just that his numbers were in the red big time. He
Yeah.
literally didn't have any money when he was pretending that they were like in the interview. They brings Aston Kutcher into the scene and he's talking about it, but obviously you can clearly see that he's talking out of his rear end because he
Mhm.
doesn't. He's like, oh yeah, it's great, blah blah blah. He brought him in because he was a friend, but one thing that you take, you can't always believe your celebrities because
That's
they don't
right.
always have your best interest in heart. You can
That's
kind
right.
of see
That's
it
right.
there. The company, if he truly was like this company is going down, like guys, instead it was like, oh yeah, he's doing great, no, no, blah blah, and put in a face. And I get it. We're all put in the situation. We
Of
protect our
course.
friends, but
Absolutely.
it's like
Absolutely.
you got to do your research, and of course everyone knew it according to the documentary. Like, hey, look, there's something completely wrong. You had people from the news, but anyway, I don't want to say too much more about it, Carlos. I think he had a good thing coming, and it just shows you how fast a company can go down. And this, hence the importance of diversifying a little bit your portfolio. Even though sometimes you say you kind of agree, don't agree, I think it's important.
No, I do. I do. I agree, Alex. I definitely agree. And the diversification on a business model is not solely relying on one specific business model to sustain you, right? If you've got a healthy business model, it should create sustainability, but you also got to get creative, right? You got to be able to do product enhancement. You got to be able to also have product in a innovation. You've got to leave some wiggle room there, and I think that's where he was not comfortable. I think he was a big thinker, and I salute him for being a big thinker. But you've got to have some discipline when you're growing and scaling. And at some point, you hit $65 billion, and now you're not even touching 1 billion, right? So
Mm.
again, this is a reminder to all of us, whether we're running a business, whether we're looking at our own financial landscape and our goals and what we're trying to do, is discipline matters. It is incredibly important for us to always have that discipline when it comes to the finances and what we're doing on a daily basis. So as we talk about sales and commission structures, or we're looking at the Ace family as an example, or we're looking at the WeWork as a corporation versus individuals, look, at the end of the day, financial discipline matters, Alex. And I know you
So
agree with that for sure.
no, for sure. And dude, check when we touched on this last on our last subject here for I wanted to pick your brain on this last one, Carlos, which is productivity hacks 101. I know you got
Yeah.
some things that you can share with us
Yeah,
that
man.
you
Yeah. No, so here's everyone loves hacks. Like, we love watching those videos on Instagram, the
yeah.
reels. We love watching the TikToks, and we love watching the hacks, how it can make our life easier, right? A hack at the end of the day is really just an opportunity for us to, see something incredible take place, something so quick and something so fast. But there is something that I have taken on myself, Alex, when it comes to productivity, something that'll really trigger my mind. It'll trigger my brain, that says to my brain, hey, you're being productive, and here's what you need to do. And I tend to trick my brain that way. For example, there are some things that I do not like, Alex. I don't know about you, man, but I hate clutter, bro. I
Mm.
hate clutter. I hate little things everywhere. I like I like clean, crisp, light. I don't like heavy, overburden, stuff everywhere. So what I do in order to reset is I declutter. Right, I take
Mm-hmm.
I focus on taking my trash out. If that's the case, mopping, sweeping the floor, shaking the rugs. I really focus on those little details, and what I end up doing is I trick my brain into focusing on these things, because then not only am I decluttering my home, as an example, I'm also decluttering my brain, right? I'm
Mm-hmm.
decluttering my office, my desk. Bro, you can see my desk right now. It is immaculate. I do not leave the day without my desk being incredibly clean and
So
incredibly organized. I'm telling you,
so
man.
I so I try to keep mine, but in a way, sometimes I have so much stuff
Yeah.
that it's kind of sometimes hard to put some stuff away. But I try to remind myself that they say that the geniuses have a messy desk.
And they know where everything is.
They say,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
like
Yeah.
all your Steve Jobs and all these other people that have had messy desks. So
Ah,
I try to say
drive me
myself,
nuts.
but no, I do try to every so often, like you said, I do try to tighten up, get rid of stuff, clean it up, and at least get it back to a normal, like an environment that I feel is kind of clean, and it's
Yeah.
kind of that decycled of the clutterness, right? That we all tend to collect.
Because it resets us. Some of us don't realize this, but according to a specific author who's done a significant amount of research at Harvard, they have learned that the declutter, what it also does, it helps you reset in so many ways, right?
Hmm.
It helps you reset your life. It helps you reset your money, your emotional balance, your routines. Look, at the end of the day, when you sit to just take a pause for a moment and to meditate, write your thoughts down, stand up and stretch, go for a walk, drink some water, listen to your favorite song.
Go,
Those are
yeah,
therapeutic, they're healing. But what it does, it trains your mind, right? It trains your mind to be productive.
You know what, Carlos? One thing that I don't know if it work a lot for females, which they can probably have a different variation, but even sometimes if you having a stressful day at work, you can go to the bathroom, or just throw some water in your face, kind of just put it over your hands. I'm saying not for our females because obviously they got makeup and they
Makeup,
don't want to get it
mascara,
off.
yeah, yeah. You do
Yeah,
that?
and all that
You
stuff.
put water on your face in the restroom when you
No,
need to
I'm just
reset?
I'm just saying it's like it's one of those things that you can probably put it on there. It says like, hey, I need to get out of this funk. Things are not going. You just had a heated argument or something, or something like that happened at
Yeah, yeah,
work, or
yeah,
you
yeah.
didn't agree and you're kind of a little bit. It's like go put some cold water in your face, kind of reset. It'll help you get that mentality because it's just tricking your brain, like you're saying.
That's right.
Stand up, stretch, go outside, walk. There's little things like that that you can do. And do you have any tips for us on like money wise or saving
Yeah, man.
tricks?
I would say, look, number one, uh, if you're on a budget, you need to be realistic on a budget, right?
Mm.
You got to be realistic. You got to really think about what you're doing. One of the things that I've learned is my receipts or
Mm.
my bank account. What I do is instead, I know a lot of these banks will give you the opportunity for, they'll put this pie chart together and they'll tell you what you're spending on food,
Mm.
what you're spending on utilities, and what you're paying, et cetera, et cetera. For me, I like to highlight it. I like to print it and I like to highlight it because I'm able to see what I'm doing, right? And I also celebrate when I've reached a certain milestone, whether that's on the investment side, whether that's on my savings side, where I'm carrying over. Again, whatever works for you, you've got to learn to trick your brain in order to reset, right? Whether it's a declutter, whether it's saving money, whether it's an emotional balance. Look, sometimes, man,
Here,
I told you about this. I told you
I
about
know
this
I wanted to
book,
actually I want
right?
to take it. I wanted to take it because I was going to share that because
Yeah.
you said it multiple times in your in previous podcasts. On your professional or high performance agenda. You were
Yeah,
about to say.
man.
I just wanted to say it for
Woo, you
you.
knew it was coming.
Is Yeah, it's you write down the gratitude, right? You
That's
have a
right.
list, is thank one of your employees for whatever reason, and that's how you get that emotional balance. Is
Mhm.
you remind yourself like, hey, tell somebody that did a great job.
Yeah.
And you know what, I
Today.
don't tend yeah, like, no, I'm just
Yeah.
saying, like, go ahead, you got a
Oh, no, no.
story?
Well, today I got it. Story time. Today I'll be very quick with it. Today, what made me feel so good to getting that emotional balance. In certain ways, my staff is overworked in certain ways, but today I wrote out bonus checks.
Hmm.
Just gave bonuses out. I listen. You could have wrote me a check. I could have wrote myself a check for a bonus. That's okay. That feels all right. Hey, okay, cool. Move on to the next one, right? But for me to give it to my staff and they
Mm-hmm.
didn't know it was coming, the best feeling in the world, bro. Best feeling, best emotional balance there is
Mm-hmm.
there, right? Because you write these gratitude lists down, right? You talk about complimenting your staff and all these things, but now it's one thing to say, it's another thing with an action, and now it helps their pocket, right? For
Yeah.
me, that is sounds crazy, but for me, that's therapeutic to see my staff thrive and receive a bonus for their work that they've done and
Yeah,
actually
no,
just
that's
take a
great.
moment to just say, hey, thank you for what you've done. I would not be in this position if you would not be in this position, right? Where I'm at now, where we are as an organization, as a
Yeah.
business, we would not be where we are at today if you didn't play a role in that. So let me just say
Yeah.
thank you. And this is a small, a small token of my appreciation. So yeah, man, I'm glad you remembered that high performance planner, man, because it really is important, Alex. It really
No,
is
dude.
important that you trick your brain and you hack your brain into understanding. Listen, you ever write down a to-do list and you cross that out? You may not realize it, but when you cross out a to-do item,
It's the
it
dopamine. Yeah.
it is. It's the dopamine, right? It's that hack that's taken place in your brain that teaches you and honestly makes you be so productive that you want to cross out that next thing. For me, it's deleting emails. Man, that feels so good to delete an email.
Well,
I've
yeah,
already knocked
I
it out.
deleting emails, and you already know mine is a sticky note. I put the sticky note of my to do list for the day, and
Yeah, of
individual, not in on the list,
course.
or sometimes I do write them on one and I'll scratch them off. But it's just grabbing it, crumbling it, throwing it in the trash.
Boom.
you do it through your emails. I like to do it physically because
Mm,
the sensation of me
there
crumbling
you
it
go.
up is the sense of accomplishment that I finished the
Mm,
task, done,
good.
and then I move on to the next one. But
Good.
Carlos, I got a
Good.
little bit of homework. I know that one of
You gonna give me homework now?
yeah, man, we're gonna give them the homework for our next show. Is
All right, dude. Go
and
for it.
we kind of talked a little bit off air. But is everyone around or my subdivision, and I know across the country, everyone's selling their home. So I want to title our next show
Yeah.
is I sold my like something along the lines. We can come up with a clever name, but something along like I sold my house. Now what? Or
Okay.
like or something along those lines like
Okay.
sold my house, now what? So think of what I want to go with. That is the homework assignment would be um so you sold your house, what do you do with the money? If you're able, if you're going to go into an investment property, tell a little bit of the ramifications of do what the taxes implication is, the little loopholes. And we're not CPAs here or anything, so we'll
So
keep it
are we
like super general.
snorkeling or are we diving? We're snorkeling, I'm
Well,
guessing, right?
I'm snorkeling with a little bit of a dip of a dive,
Okay.
just enough just to see, because I know it's interesting. Some of our listeners could be in the same boat, or they could be a lot of other people just like him that they don't know what to do with the money that they receive, or where to
Oh,
invest.
so what now? So what do I do when I've got this big amount of cash? What do I do
Yeah,
now?
yeah. What
I'd
do I
love to
do
tell you
now?
what to do with your money. Absolutely.
So let's keep it, let's save it for the next show so we can bring it a little bit more facts and not just opinion based, just
Yeah.
kind of what's out there. So go ahead and kick us off with the quote of the day, though.
Yeah, man. This is actually this comes from Abraham Lincoln, surprisingly, right? I don't really like to I don't think we've talked much about presidents, of course. But Abraham Lincoln said that discipline, since we've been really talking about it, and I mean, we've been going in on discipline in so many ways, Alex. Abraham Lincoln said that discipline is choosing between what you want now and what you want the most. Discipline is choosing between what you want now and what you want most. My name is Carlos.
This is Alex. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah.
See
See you
ya.
guys.
See ya.